So here's a huge question. Can your thoughts actually shape your reality? Now, that might sound like a super modern idea, but it's actually the core of a spiritual text from way back in the early 20th century called The Science of Mind. In this explainer, we're going to break down its biggest ideas to really understand this philosophy, one that claims your mind is this incredibly powerful creative tool. Okay, let's dive right in.
The entire book really boils down to the answer to this one fundamental question. Is everything around us just a chaotic, meaningless accident? Or is it an ordered, intelligent system that's actually responding to us? The science of mind goes all in on the second option, proposing a universe that isn't just happening to you, but maybe, just maybe, happening through you. So, to really get a handle on this, we're going to walk through the book's 5 foundational ideas. We're going to start with the big cosmic stuff and bring it right down to the personal level. All right, first things first, we have to start with the foundation of the whole system. And it all begins with this idea of a single universal consciousness. Now, the way this book defines spirit or God is really interesting. It's not a person up in the sky, nope. It's described as the first cause. This single, conscious, self-knowing intelligence that is the source of absolutely everything. Think of it less like a being and more like the very principle of being itself. Okay, so to explain how this first cause actually creates, the book outlines what it calls a trinity of being. It's a 3-step flow. First, you've got spirit. That's the thinker, the conscious mind that has the original idea. Second, there's the law. That's the impersonal, creative medium that just acts on that thought. It's the way. And third, you have the body, which is the physical result, the manifestation of that whole process. So see the pattern? It goes from thought, through law, and into form. Okay, so if spirit is the thinker, how exactly does this creative law work? This brings us to the second piece of the puzzle, the mechanism of it all, the law of mind. The book has some really brilliant analogies to make this whole abstract idea click. It says the law is totally impersonal, kind of like electricity. I mean, electricity doesn't have an opinion, right? It just works based on how you use it. And at the same time, it's endlessly creative, like a patch of fertile soil. The soil's job isn't to judge the seed you plant. Its job is just to grow it, whether you've planted a beautiful flower or a weed. And this quote just nails the point. The book argues the universe reasons deductively. What that means is, it doesn't argue with you, it doesn't analyze your request, it simply accepts the premise, your thought, your belief, and then carries it out to its logical conclusion. It literally cannot refuse the seed that you plant in it. So, we've got a universal thinker and an impersonal law. Where do we fit into all of this? Well, this is where the philosophy gets really personal, because it's all about the individual's role. And here it is. This is the central, most powerful claim in The Science of Mind. It argues that you, as an individual, are basically a little center of this universal mind. And because of that, your thought isn't just some random, fleeting thing happening in your head. No, it's an active force that directly taps into this universal creative law. The way the book explains this is by breaking your mind down into 2 parts. You have your objective mind, which is your conscious, everyday thinking mind. It's the captain on the bridge of a ship, making choices, giving orders. Then you have your subjective mind. That's your deeper, subconscious self. It's the engine room. And the engine room doesn't question the captain's orders. It just takes them and automatically sets the whole ship in motion. So this is the crucial takeaway, right? If your conscious thoughts are the commands that your subjective mind, and by extension the universal law, are automatically carrying out, then learning how to direct your thinking becomes the single most important skill you could ever develop. It literally becomes the art of living. Now, this all sounds pretty amazing in theory, but how do you actually use it? Well, the book spends a huge amount of time on the practical application, which it calls the science of healing. The main technique it teaches is called a treatment. Now, this isn't about medicine, it's about your mind. A treatment is defined as the scientific process of consciously choosing a new belief, like a belief in perfect health or total success, and impressing it on your subjective mind. The whole goal is to replace a negative idea with a positive one, which in turn gives the law a new, better command to execute. This quote, which the book brings up a lot, is presented as the core principle in action. It's not just a nice, hopeful phrase. It's meant to be a statement of law. The outcome you experience is a direct reflection of the belief you actually hold. And again, the book is really firm on this point. This is science, not superstition. It reframes what might look like a miracle as a simple law of cause and effect. The mental cause, a deep shift in your conviction, must, by law, produce a matching physical effect. If you change the cause, the effect has to change. It's just how it works. So, where does all of this lead? For our final section, let's look at the ultimate takeaway: what this philosophy says about our freedom and our fate. This is a really natural question to ask, right? If our lives are governed by this impersonal law that just automatically creates from our thoughts, does that mean we're just puppets on a string? Are we fated to just live out whatever beliefs we happen to have, whether we're aware of them or not? Well, the book's answer is a huge, emphatic no. It argues that the fundamental nature of the universe is freedom. Things like bondage, limitation, suffering, those aren't some divine punishment. They're simply the result of using a powerful, neutral law without understanding how it works. And this is the ultimate point. True freedom isn't about breaking the laws of life. I mean, you can't break the law of gravity. You can only learn to work with it. Real freedom, according to this text, comes from understanding the law of your own mind, and then using it consciously, deliberately, and constructively to build the life you actually choose. So, in the end, it doesn't really matter if you see this as a deep spiritual truth, a psychological model, or just a really interesting philosophy. It brings this huge cosmic idea right back down to us, right here, right now. If your mind is the soil and your thoughts are the seeds, then the big, unavoidable question becomes, what are you planting today?